Okay, so welcome everyone. Tonight we're going to talk about retention. And if you have been in adult ed for any amount of time, you know retention is the word, the important word that we're always trying to do better at. And since COVID, it's become more of a, discussion question. So recently, I was able to join a virtual learning community on retention. And so a lot of what I'm sharing today is what I learned there. And I hope that you'll enjoy this as much as I did. It was about 6 weeks of class interactive activities, and we went over research, which was very interesting. We had to collect and analyze our own personal retention data, which I'm going to show you a form that you can use if you ever want to do that yourself. And then, like any good training, they gave us lots of practical strategies to apply in the classroom. So we had weekly readings, we did brainstorms in Google, Jamboards, we had office hours. So we had to all meet at different times, and that was a lot of fun. I got to meet people from all over the state. So if you're ever able to do the retention virtual learning community, I highly recommend it. But guess what? When they talked about retention, they didn't talk about TABE or CASAs or DAISY, which I thought was very, well, it made me happy because it seems like that's all we hear when we hear ICCB talk is, what are your TABE scores? Did you get an improvement? What does DAISY look like? And so that wasn't brought up at all. But guess what was? Teachers. Teachers are the magic to retention. And so over and over, they talked about the effort of teachers is what keeps our students in class. It's what gives us the improved test scores, and in the end makes ICCB happy. So you guys probably already knew that, but you're the magic to keeping our students here. But retention in adult education is not easy. I was thinking back because I've been in adult ed for about 20 years now, and I remember when I very first started reading articles about retention in adult education. So it's something that's, we've been dealing with for a long time. So what I'd like for you guys to do is we're going to do a waterfall chat. And I don't know if you're familiar with a waterfall chat. It's something new to me, and I've been in love with it, especially when you have a lot of students. So what you're going to do is go to chat, and I'm going to have you share something, but don't click on go, or don't click enter until I say, and then everyone does it at the same time, so it looks like a waterfall. So in chat, think about one tip you would give a new instructor on retention with no more than 3 words. So in the chat, we've all been with our students for a while, what is one tip you would give to a new teacher? But don't share it yet. Wait just a minute so everyone has a chance. And this is great to do in the classroom so people have time to think. Some of us are a little bit slower at thinking, and when we start to see the answers pop up, it makes us a little nervous to share ourselves. So one tip you would give a new instructor on retaining adult ed students in less than 3 words. Okay, type it into your chat, but don't click on enter yet. Okay, is everyone ready? Or do you need a little more time?
Do it.
Do it. Okay, everyone go. And look in the chat, it's like a waterfall. They're all coming in. All right. So let's see.
Okay.
So connecting, making connections. Don't panic. Oh, that's important. Know their story. Understanding, laughing, smiling. Yeah. Make yourself available. Keep up contact. Channel of communication. Be understanding. Know their names. Oh my gosh, you guys already took my presentation. So this is great. These are things that definitely were in our training. So what are the best practices for retention? The first one we talked about was goal setting. And I think a lot of teachers do this. You set goals with your students. Why are you here? What do you want to get out of this? But really being specific about the goals of the students. I want to earn my GED. I want to learn English. I want to help my children with their schoolwork, get a better job, own a business. I've had somebody who said, I just want to be able to go on social media and not make spelling mistakes or not have grammar mistakes. So it could be something very simple. But with adults, it's so much different than with kids. If they don't see that they're meeting their goals, they're going to leave. They don't have to be here with us. So making sure that adults have specific goals at the beginning of the semester and that they recognize that they are meeting them. So I've shared this before with the HSE teachers, but when I was teaching ABE, I used a lot of technology in the classroom. And one time my manager asked me, you know that they know the technology skills, but do they know that? Can they tell you which skills they have for technology? Because if they don't, they can't use that in a job interview. So it's not just setting that goal, the goals with students, but making sure that they're aware of what those goals are and when they're reaching them. And then relating back to those frequently in class. So when you're talking about something in class, you're doing an assignment, go back to those goals that they set for themselves. When I'm in the classroom, I use those big Post-its, and I'll put a lot of the goals that the students have mentioned. And then I try to refer back to them, and having them up where I can see them helps me with that. So one example for me is when I'm teaching an ABE class, we always do a book club. And so each week we get together in their groups. They have a different job they needed to accomplish with their book club. And I always explain to them at the beginning, when you go to do your GED, you're going to have a writing portion on the GED. You're going to have to read an article, and then you're going to have to write about it. You're going to have to analyze it. So when we're in these groups, that's what we're doing. We're listening to how other people present the information. And it's okay to, I say still, but we're getting ideas from other people of how to put words together and how they see it. So I always try to make sure I go back to why are we doing this lesson? Return to goals frequently to see if students feel like they're making steps. So again, creating those, checkoffs. These are the goals that we have for this semester. Let's check them off as we go through. So goal setting was one thing that was really important for adult learners. And then, as you guys said in the waterfall chat, making strong connections and making them early. So in the research that we read, it said that most students will leave within the first 2 to 3 weeks of attending class if they don't feel like their goals are going to be met or they're making the connections that they need. And so some suggestions that they had was use the students' names within the first week. So some of us are better than others at remembering names. And if you've done any training with Amelia from Burlington English, she makes this point all the time. When you get on Zoom with your students, you need to be saying their names as they enter, not just hi class, but hi Paul, hi Galena. You need to say everyone's name as they come in because students want to know that you know who they are. Meeting with students one-on-one regularly. And this is something that our students have mentioned a lot too, is I want to know how I'm doing in class. I'm doing Burlington English and I'm doing Essential Ed, but how am I doing on that? So meeting with students one-on-one so that you can share how they're doing and they can share, any questions or thoughts they have. And then being structured yet flexible. So one thing that was really interesting to me was in the research, they said students who experience trauma have a hard time in classes where students are coming in at all different times. And I thought that's the exact opposite of what we do because we're trying to help students. We want them to, if you're a little late, we understand, come on in. So I thought it was interesting that they said students who have experienced trauma have a hard time with that, just students coming in at all times because they start to get into the lesson and then something happens and we have to start all over. They lose their train of thought. So finding that balance of being structured yet flexible. So we have setting goals, we have making connections, and then forming teacher to student and student to student interactions. So they had some great ideas here, which I'm sure you guys are probably already using. Group work. How many people are using group work? You can raise your hand physically, or you can raise your hand with your reactions on Zoom. How many people use group work in person or remotely through breakout rooms? All right, excellent. Video messages, record Flipgrid videos. If you haven't used Flipgrid, I highly suggest it. And I'm going to show you something in a little bit that I did with Flipgrid that was really successful and fun. Get to know you time. So doing those surveys, find somebody. So it's back to making those connections. Student pairs, so having them work together to review and edit. Project-based learning, which is kind of a lot of the conferences we're going to anymore talk about project-based learning. Student interest, scheduled check-ins, so really talking to your students. So these were some of the positive interactions that were shared in our training. And so when I was thinking about the student-to-student interactions, I was thinking about when I think it was a couple semesters ago, I had students in a breakout room. It was a Saturday morning. And so they were in breakout rooms and I was going from room to room. And all of a sudden I heard, as soon as I popped in one breakout room, intruder, intruder. And I was like, what? Who's the intruder? They said, you are, teacher. And the reason I was the intruder was that they were enjoying that time they had together. And so we talked about that. Why did you need that time together and without me? And somebody said, when I'm in a breakout room, we do the work, and they did, but then we have that time where we can just talk to each other, kind of like we did when we were in the classroom. When we worked in groups, we had time to talk, or when we were walking out to the car, we could talk about different things, and we need that time. So I was glad we had stopped and had that conversation and talked about why I was the intruder, and I was kind of glad to be the intruder. So also keeping students is multiple instructional approaches. So they talked about having a consistent schedule, but changing up the way it's presented and the activities assigned. So when I was thinking through this with myself, I was trained in EBRI. So when I taught ABE classes and even with ESL classes, I always have a schedule on the board. And I try to keep it pretty consistent. Like today we're going to do first is vocabulary, then we might do some kind of alphabetics or phonics, and then comprehension. So it's always the same, but the activities that we do change frequently. And students need that. They need to be able to try out different ways of learning, because we know as ourselves, some things work for us and some don't. So this was the learning pyramid. And I think the easiest for all of us is lecture, but of course that's the one we should be doing the least of. And look down here, teach others is at the highest, and practice by doing. So this is a great way of, putting students into breakout rooms, having them work together, or in person working together. You know this, now you teach this to someone else. And so this is something I did on Flipgrid with my citizenship class. I had each of the students give one tip on going through the citizenship process, because we had done some research, and so now I wanted them to give a tip. And this is a student who in class was very quiet. I usually had to call on her. She didn't volunteer to answer. But when she did her Flipgrid, she had a background, so she had the breaking news. She got all dressed up. I could tell she practiced a lot. And she pretended like she was a reporter giving this tip. And the class loved it. But it reminded me that sometimes students don't fit into the little learning style that is comfortable to me, and I have to break out of it and try new things. So Flipgrid was definitely a good one to do. Do you guys use Flipgrid?
No.
No, it's easy to set up. You can have a topic, you give the students the link, and then they go on and very easily they can make their own videos. And it could even be, maybe you're having them teach a math concept to other students. Like everyone's assigned something different and they have to teach how to do it. And then know your learners. So adults need to know why they're learning something, which we talked about in the beginning. If they don't know why they're learning it, why am I here? Adults learn through doing, even if they make mistakes. And if you're like me, I ask my students, what do you guys want to do? Do you want to do it this way or that way? And they always are like, it's up to you, teacher, or you teach and we'll just do whatever. And so it's easy to just do whatever, which is usually lecture, right? But having them get up, one day I was in class, again, I love using those big Post-its, and I had students in groups working on, they had to create, draw a picture of one of our vocabulary words, and then put it in a sentence, and then we were going to share it. And one of the students was over there taking pictures, and I said, what are you doing? And she said, I'm sending my daughter a picture so that she knows we have fun in school too. It was so simple. I just had Post-its and large markers. But they like to get up and they like to move just like little kids do. And they're problem solvers. They want to be able to be the person who figures out, new ways that we can do things or what the problem is. I like using students with technology because when I first started using it in the classroom, I was awful with technology. And I told them, I don't know technology, but I want to start trying it. And so they started helping me, and they would say, teacher, so I'd be on the big screen and they'd say, teacher, you're not doing that right. And I'm like, well, come on up and show me how to do it. And so they became the problem solvers, and I learned a lot. And then adults learn best when the subject is of immediate use. So again, what am I doing with this and how can I use it in my own life? So what we're going to do is we're going to go into breakout rooms. So we have 3 breakout rooms set up, and hopefully everyone has the newest or most updated Zoom, because when you have that, you can set your breakout rooms to choices. And one of the UDL in one of the UDL trainings, they talk a lot about giving students choices. So tonight we're going to give you choices. You can decide which breakout room to go to. The first one is goal setting. So if you choose that, you're going to talk with your peers on strategies to help students set academic goals for themselves and how to check on progress. Breakout room 2 is creating strong interactions. So brainstorm and share ideas on creating interactions between student and teacher and teacher and student and student and student. And then the third one, multiple instructional approaches. So what are some different approaches that you could use in the classroom to meet all the needs of your students? So you're going to choose one of the breakout rooms, and then let's see, let me pull this up. When you're there, I have, let me share it in the chat, a Google slide presentations, because I love using Google Slides in the classroom. I think that students can learn a lot of technology. So when you get here, you and your team will go to whichever you chose. So if you're in goal setting, you're going to work on goal setting and put your ideas here. Creating interactions or multiple instructional approaches. If you need to add more slides, you can do that. There's the little plus here at the top. And I like doing this in the class because they can see each other working on their own slide. So as a group, you're working on your slide. But sometimes they'll see the other groups working and they'll be like, oh no, they're putting a picture. We've got to add a picture too. And then they're hurrying or changing the fonts, or, you know, when they see their peers doing something, they want to do it too. So that's the great thing about Google Slides, is it almost seems like you have somebody in a group who knows more about it than others, and then they try to get you to try new things. So we're going to choose which room we want to go into. And then once you're there, you're going to have somebody in your group, or all of you, however you want to do it, put your answers on Google Slides. And it's in the chat now. Okay, do those instructions make sense? Michelle's shaking her head. Thank you, Michelle.
Make sure you put your hand down if you had it up, because you're going to raise your hand if you need help in the breakout room.
How do you select?
Okay, so we're going to open that. We're going to open it up now.
Make sure you click on the link before you select.
Again.
That's the other thing.
Goals.
The document will go away once you go into your breakout room, so make sure you click on the document now.
Okay. Good point. I was like there already.
Okay, so it says goals, connection, or multiple.
Where does it say that?
I'm going to open the rooms now.
Oh,
Sound like your students, all of you.
Okay.
exactly.
So now hopefully your Zoom is updated and you can choose which room you want to go into. Do you see that now?
No.
No?
Oh, I see it.
Oh,
Oh,
who
no.
said that?
Libby sees it.
Oh, good. Anyone else?
No.
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 We all failed on our
No.
Zoom updates, all of us.
No.
Are you kidding me?
Okay,
Why?
let me
don't see
close
it.
it again. Let me try again. Okay, I'm going to open all rooms.
When, okay, so you changed the names. Maybe you have to check the option and make sure that it's, students can pick what they want.
So Okay,
What options up
we
there?
had it all set up for you guys, but you know
it-
how that works. Okay, let me
Can
try
we
here again.
Can we just tell you which one we want and you just assign us to
Well,
that
that's
one?
not any fun,
It's not
Paul.
fun, Paul. That's the workaround.
Okay,
There's always a
here's what
workaround.
happened. Okay, I think we're just a minute. Okay, so goals, connections, and I'll put just multiple. And I think Libby did this twice and then it disappeared. This has happened to me before too. It wasn't anything you did, Libby. Okay, now do you see it?
Mm-mm.
Mhm.
Bottom,
I
it's
see
the
a
bottom.
little box,
Yeah, it's
Oh,
at the-
4 little boxes.
So now
Got it
click
now.
on your breakout rooms. Click
Okay.
on breakout rooms at the bottom, everyone.
Okay, and then choose which one you want to go to. Okay, so I can see Mary's and goals, Paul,
see
connection,
one.
Michelle Lyman, multiple, Bill, Iris, Lisa.
I have no idea, Kathy. Do I click on the Google Docs?
You want to click on that, and then you also want to click on the breakout room that you want to go to. Do you
Okay.
see the breakout rooms down at the
I'm-
bottom?
Getting there.
Okay. Carlos, how are you doing?
I have Google down to the down, and I have Microsoft Outlook in download too. I have both.
Okay, where do you want to go? Do you want to go to goal setting? Do you want to go to connections?
Let me see to say, check this. I have this schedule made easy.
Because I can go ahead and assign you guys. Nick, where would you like to go?
Multiple instruction?
Okay. You should have a notice to join. Stephanie, where would you like to go? Oops, she's gone. Good. Patricia's back. Johnny, where would you like to go? Okay, I'm going to assign you to connections. Carlos, how about connections?
Okay.
Okay, so you should have a note to join.
Where am
Patricia,
I, Kathy?
you're
I
here
was
in the
doing-
main room. Where did you
I
want to be,
cannot-
Patricia?
Creating interactions?
Okay.
I didn't see.
Did you get a note? Okay.
Okay, so Sabrina is joining right now, connected to audio. She's been having trouble getting in all evening.
Oh, no.
Yeah, she's been having some problems. Oops, here's another one that's coming in, and it's coming in as an adult instructor.
Is that me?
No,
That's what it looks
Sabrina,
like.
I see Sabrina.
Okay,
I see.
mine says my name.
Yeah, Sabrina says Sabrina, but someone just came in as an adult ed instructor. Who are you?
Johnny,
Johnny.
Britton.
Okay, Johnny Britton,
Hey,
you're in
Libby.
different places then. That's what's going on.
Oh,
Okay, Johnny.
let me turn this
So-
phone off.
All right.
I was trying to get on the phone and I couldn't get through.
Okay,
That's
we're going to assign you to a room.
Okay.
And Sabrina, where do you want to go?
This is working, so I'm looking.
Okay, okay,
Oh,
perfect.
okay.
And then Libby, I'm going to pop into the rooms if you want to.
Yeah, I will do the same.
Okay.
Start.
Send me 3 goals that you 3 goals you want to accomplish, and then specify for under each goal, like how do you want to, what do you think would help you to achieve those goals? You know, I had one student saying, I want to be able to talk to
what we're reading, because I do a lot with documents in terms of social studies. So I'm practicing the analysis and the reading
so then I got my laptop. So I would like to add, if you don't mind, I had a very interesting lesson today. Well, I should say we had a very interesting lesson through Burlington English on diversity. Diversity. And so the students really enjoyed it because we basically were dealing with the how various countries celebrate Independence Day and the
Okay.
various dates. Got into the various types of music.
They were repeating back their questions and I was typing them out so they could also see them. And then they were taking turns asking each other the questions and answering them. So I kind of, I guess, I don't know, all within one lesson, getting them to create their own questions using the grammar, speaking with the grammar, writing down the grammar, right? Using it in their real lives and talking about future questions that they.
We are back.
Hi, Galena. How are you? Are you
Good.
gonna dance for us tonight?
You know, as always, in the company of similar thinking people, you know, we probably call some things in different ways, but they mean the same. The meaning is the same always.
It's always a good sign to me when students are
Yeah.
forced back into the room and don't come back by choice. That means conversations are happening.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, so it sounds like you guys had some good ones.
we did. We did. We really did. And I told them we had to leave as soon as you told us to because your true nature. You're tough.
So generally, if I was in class, then I would have each, I'd pull it up and have each group share. And if we have time at the end, I'll have each group do that. I'm going to move on though, but so my students always figure out pretty quickly that my memory is very short and they know I won't remember things. So I always assign somebody a job. So I might say, okay, Patricia, don't let me forget if we have time at the end to come back and look at the Google Doc or
And we
Google
both
Slide.
forget it.
Okay, thank you. And then it's nice then because you have it in presentation style. So maybe next week you go back and say, can you add pictures or is there anything else you want to add to that? And it's a nice way to review that same information.
Cathy,
Yes.
as far as I remember, so this session is being recorded, but when you are during the recorded session, so in a breakout room, it's not recording, yeah?
No,
It's
No.
recording the main room.
it stops recording the breakout rooms.
Yeah, because, I saw that, yeah.
So
It sounded
sometimes
like-
if they're in breakout rooms, I might pause it so that I don't,
Yeah.
it's not me just staring
In
at
this
the.
case, Google Docs are really critical, because you can just get back and refresh.
Yeah, it's nice, I think.
There's an activity.
Okay, so moving on to strategies that are best practices for retention. Another one is student engagement and motivation, which uses real life materials. So if you've ever had a student bring their electric bill, a phone bill, doctor's bill, any kind of materials they need and say, hey, teacher, I need some help, that would be a good way to bring in real life materials. So we did a presentation for our HSE students, Michelle, Libby, and I, on contextualized learning. Michelle talks about this a lot with her ICAPs, but using real life materials in your instruction so students understand why they are learning what they're learning. And I liked this that Libby had to say, it's the carrot that draws our students into lessons, the reason students find a babysitter so they can attend our classes, and the draw that keeps bringing them back to class. What is making your class important enough for students to come back? That is what contextualized learning is all about. And when will I ever need to know this? Our students shouldn't have to ask that. We're telling them that. But we bring them into it. So bringing in students' prior life experiences. I love when Michelle is giving presentations because she always talks about how important it is to focus in on what students bring to education. They have knowledge of current events. They have a variety of jobs that we could never even dream of doing. They rent and own their own homes. They manage households. So bring in materials that are going to help them to learn how to do all of this or to teach it to someone else. And
Cathy, I'm sorry, I'm going to leave the meeting because I have class.
Okay, thanks for coming,
Good
Carlos.
night, everybody.
Hi, Carlos.
Good night, Carlos. See ya.
Bye-bye.
It always makes my heart happy when a student says, teacher, this is exactly what I need to learn. And it's usually not grammar, even though they tell you they need to learn grammar. It's usually technology or writing, some kind of email. So teachers need to make, and this was taken from the training, they need to show students how point A gets to point B. So here's my goal and here's what we're doing with it. So that's really important for them to know. Teachers need to make a conscious effort to show students how every activity and assignment in class connects to the outcomes students are reaching for. In other words, draw a straight line between an activity done in class and something in the student's future or their goals. And we talked about this in class where, the first week we have students write their goals, but we never take it the next steps of connecting what we're doing in class to those goals. And then for our final assignment, we had to reflect on our own retention. And we knew this at the beginning. And to be honest, I was a little nervous because, as you guys all know, retention's not the easiest thing. So we had to put how many students registered and then how many actually showed up on day one. And that can be a lot different. And I'm just like you guys, I send text messages, I call them, I email, I do everything that I can. And then what did it look like at the 2-week mark? And for me, I was pretty lucky in this class, I think. And then at the 4-week mark. So we can see it starts to go down for different reasons. But if you are interested in doing this for yourself, it is kind of, I don't know, it's very reflective because it made me think a little bit more about, well, what did I do or not do to keep my students? And is there anything else I could have done to help keep them in class? Okay, so I have another little activity for us. Have you guys used Padlets? This is something new for me. Let me put this in the chat. And actually, you guys will be the first ones I've used it with because I'm doing it with a class next week. So what you do in Padlet is you choose one of, can everybody see Padlet?
Yes.
Okay, sometimes
Yes.
when I go
Yes.
from different screens, it doesn't always follow me. So with Padlet, I have my title, Helping Students Stay. And then I have different categories. So if you're teaching a remote class, one way I make students feel included, you're going to give us a tip here. If you're face-to-face, a way that you make students feel included, because we know that connection is important. One new retention strategy I plan to use. How do students know that retention is important to you? That's really important, I think. Students need to know why we want them to stay too. And an example of a real life material I use in the classroom. So what I did this one, so remote. One way I make students feel included is I have students on Zoom and they're holding something up. So the first few classes on Zoom, I go over all the tools in Zoom. I have them mute themselves, take themselves off mute. I have them do the video, put themselves back on video, and I have them show me something that's within arm's length. I have them use a reaction because I don't want anyone to ever feel like they're not included in the Zoom. So that's something that I do. And how this works, if you haven't used it, is you choose a category and then you click on the plus. And then you can put, your name if you want to do that. So maybe I'll put Cathy. That's how my students spell my name. And then you can write something. So a way that I make my students feel included the first day is I learn everyone's name. So I can just type it and publish it and it'll just pop up here. Or I can choose to do a link. I can look for a picture. Maybe it's, I don't know if this will pop up anything. Okay, maybe this one. So I could do names and then I could publish it. You could do a GIF or a, let's see here. They have a lot of different things. You can choose. So maybe you want to choose something here. Let's see what comes up with that. Okay, all right. I could use some names. Oh yeah, I love Schitt's Creek. So maybe that would be a fun one for me to use. And then you can publish it. And then it comes up here and then we could talk about it. You can comment on somebody's if you like their idea or you want to say, tell me more. So let's give this a try in the chat. you have the link to Padlet. And then choose one category that you like. And if you want to put your name, you can for the subject. If you don't, that's okay too. So I touch base with them when they are absent so they know they have been missed. I love that. Mary makes them feel included by yelling at them that they're going to have fun.
That was funny.
I love that. And if you need help doing this, just say, hey, I don't understand, because if you don't, somebody else probably doesn't either.
Yeah, I want to write something, but I don't know where to get it.
All right, which one do you want to write under? Which category?
It was like the, well, I forgot what was that. Okay, okay. This one, how do students know that retention is important to you?
Okay, so click on the plus sign that's underneath. Do you see the plus?
Okay.
You'll click on that and then you can type it in. Does that help you?
No, I mean, I see it and I cannot type on that.
Are you using it on my screen? Did you click on the link in the chat?
I did it, but I lost yeah, and I wrote something in that one, but I think I did it before time.
Okay,
But
well, maybe
I don't
go
see
back
the-
to the, I can put it in the chat again, because it may be that
Okay.
you're looking at my screen instead.
Yeah, yes, okay.
Hello? I'm in the webinar. What you need?
Okay, I use real materials like M&Ms when teaching graphs,
What?
Excel.
Okay.
Students really like to work on these projects. I like that. Who's doing the graphs? Is that you, Iris? Oh, I like that one. How do students know that retention is important to you? I never let students think that I did not notice if they were not there. I like that. It takes time and consistency.
I asked them if this is the class that they need, because at the beginning of semester, I experienced that a lot of students, they were by mistake put in the wrong class.
Okay.
Because,
So where,
yeah,
where would
because-
you put that? Which category would you put that in?
So over here, how the students know that retention is important, and I wrote like, like to ask them like if this is the class that they need, that they want. Yeah,
okay.
because it's important, because no matter what you do, if they are in the wrong class.
Yep, you are right. A lot of times they get in the wrong class, and I see where you wrote it. Perfect.
Okay, thank you. I know.
It's important to say you have to scroll down in each separate column, otherwise you don't see all of the submissions. You can't scroll down the whole page, it's by each column. Mary, that's entertaining.
I know, I'm loving this. Please don't leave. I beg them not to leave. I've done that one too. Please just
If
4
I can
more
find
weeks.
gifts for things, I'm finding gifts because it makes it more, it's more fun.
Doesn't
It is much
it?
more.
Yeah, I agree. When I first saw this, that's what I did. I just typed it in, and then I saw other people using the gifts, and I was like, well, I want to be cool too. Oh, and then one thing when I was setting up Padlet that you can do that I thought was pretty funny is you can set it up where if people use bad words, cute emojis pop up instead.
I like that. But I wouldn't put cute emojis. I would put frowny faces going, that was a bad word.
Okay, this one must be Michelle's. Is this yours, Michelle? Lessons from the geese?
Yep, that one and those puppies that are crying. In the other there, yeah.
This one?
Yeah.
Please don't leave.
me. Don't leave me.
But yeah, lessons from geese as far as helping students feel included. And I highly recommend, there's many, many YouTube videos on lessons from geese, but I highly recommend watching that because it talks about becoming a family of learners or a team. And that's one quick way to make people automatically start feeling included is if they know they're part of a team and that they're missed. And they'll let their team down too if they're they don't come.
Oh, these are great, you guys. But
I
it's
thought
just
someone
it's
actually put
trying out.
Libby for
Yeah.
material, but then I realized it was Libby signing the M&M's math graph. So, you know, Libby is a
I
great
see.
strategy. I use Libby.
Can I share a little example about this? About real life material I use?
Mhm.
Yeah, I had a student that she had a, college degree in Mexico. I had her in a playing field, right? And all the time she used to ask me what I do. I want to be in the school system, right? So I taught her the steps, how to get it. Now she's teaching with my husband at Isaac Singleton. Do you got that one?
Yes, I asked them what information they need.
Yes, and then from that, like somebody said, oh, I need to what classes I need to get this one, or I have my degree in whatever country, what I need. And then I say, okay, so this is what I know, these are the steps. Yes.
I agree. That's perfect. And I'm just going to make a little plug for Michelle Lyman here. If you want additional real life to go with that, Zuli, invite Michelle Lyman to your class and she can talk about all that also. So she can add a little piece there.
She's doing that with my student already because she wants to get her nursing degree. Yeah, so we are doing that. Thank you, Michelle.
You are welcome. And I'm more than happy to come to your classes and talk about it or do one-on-one meetings or do both. Yeah.
She did a Zoom already with you, Daniela, my student, Daniela.
Yep.
She did a Zoom meeting with you and she was so excited, all the help that you provide to her. So she's so excited.
Yeah, I did. I did meet with Daniela. That was awesome.
Yes. Thank you.
All right. I'm just going to go. Okay, I think it's almost 5. Well, it is 5. So
It is 5
people need to go. I wanted to share one more thing. So that was all on ideas for retention. So I hope that you got something from that. And then I have one more thing I wanted to share with you. I'm always coming up with ideas, some of them good, some of them not. But I'm looking, I've been talking to Scott Harvey, who does the social media for the college, and he suggested that I keep building on the frequently asked question videos that I kind of got started a while ago. But I wanted to include teachers, students, staff. So my goal is that we would have a weekly video that goes out on our YouTube channel. And I would set up the format for it and everything. And then have you guys volunteer to do a 3-minute video, no more. It can be less, but no more. And it would be a video giving some type of encouragement, a tip, maybe a tip on how to study, prepare for the CASAS exam, and resources that are available. And I have a long list of ideas. So if anyone is interested, and then Michelle Lyman helped me come up with the name, we would call it Trade Secrets, Tips for Being a Successful Adult Ed Student. And it would be something that we would share every week. So if you're interested in this, let me know. It's kind of like the tips and motivation that we had on social media. That was a huge success. The students really liked it. The community enjoyed seeing your faces. So if that's something that you would like to do a short video, and I'll probably set it up in Flipgrid so that you can, it sets the limit, so I can do 3 minutes and then you can't go past that. All right, if we have a few minutes and you want to stay and look at these, we have a few more things. We have goal setting. Here's the Google Slides. And look at this group. They started adding pictures.
That's not fair. Because you did that after the fact.
I think so. Which honestly, this is what happens with students.
No.
Some
Then
of
I
them
know
will,
who did it.
some students will go back after class and make it look better.
Well, yeah.
Always the overachievers.
Bye, Zuli.
Bye-bye. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. I don't want to keep you, but feel free to look at that Google slide, see if there's some ideas, and then maybe another time we can meet, and because I think the conversations weren't over, we can meet and talk about those more.
Are they ever over? Seriously?
No,
We all
that's
can
the
talk.
good thing, right? We have so many good ideas.
No, we have so many good talkers that just want to talk.
I want a whole session on project-based learning. I'm putting that one out there because I've seen some really great ones and I want to hear from the teachers their best projects. So just throwing that out. If it's not this semester, it's going to happen next semester. So
I'm not coming to that one. I'll just stay home for that one.
you don't have to present. I'm just going to say, come to hear about them.
All right. Well, guys, thank you so much. And if you're interested in doing a video, just email me. If you have your own idea or you want to do a video, but you don't know what to do a video on, I can help you also. It could be a tip on how to do math. It could be a tip on how to, well, I have a million ideas at work, not here.
Shut your brain down.
That's why they always say, have your examples ready, because when you're in class, you can't think of anything.
Nope.
But thank you guys for coming and participating. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy, for doing
Kathy.
this. We really appreciate it.
It was very